Thank you, dear organizers, for inviting us to have a presentation in front of you about horizontal action spatial planning. We are two horizontal action leaders representing horizontal action spatial planning, VASAB and HELCOM. First of all, a few words about VASAB. This is a cooperation of ministers responsible for spatial planning and development in the Baltic Sea region of 11 countries, including Russia, Belarus and Norway. And we are quite old organization already. The organization was established in 1992 as a forum for exchanging experiences, sharing knowledge and also preparing policy options for the Baltic Sea region territorial development. The most recent policy document on which we are basing our work is a long-term perspective for territorial development of the region. It envisages activities, policy guidelines, how we can or could achieve territorial cohesion of the Baltic Sea region by 2030. Our partner organization, HELCOM, has its own political documents, and one of them is Baltic Sea Action Plan, which, among others, suggests that there have to be jointly developed, tested and applied joint maritime spatial planning principles. There should be organized cooperation platform in order to achieve that countries around the Baltic Sea region have maritime spatial planning as a tool. So, and thus we came to joint work. VASAB and HELCOM as horizontal action leaders, we have a role and a task to encourage the use of maritime and land-based spatial planning in all the member states around the Baltic Sea and develop a common approach for cross-border cooperation. We have set up a joint HELCOM-VASAB Maritime Spatial Planning Working Group. We have developed joint principles for maritime spatial planning, discussed the legal base, discussed integrated coastal zone management practices. We have a knowledge exchange. We have developed also training courses for professionals in maritime spatial planning. We have set up minimum requirements for maritime spatial planning in the region, and also discussed the roadmap, how we should proceed with the maritime spatial planning activities for the next years. What is very important that this ongoing process has also some targets which are agreed by EU countries. For us, very important target is that by 2020, each country has to draw up and apply of transboundary ecosystem-based maritime spatial plan throughout the region. That is the target we are working on, and we are discussing how it could be achieved within EU countries. And then, most recently, also HELCOM ministerial meeting agreed within the same time frame to draw up, apply maritime spatial plans throughout the Baltic Sea region. And what is here important, that not only EU countries, but also Russia, who is a contracting party in HELCOM, has agreed to the same timetable what we were suggesting for EU countries. Apart from policy debate, we have also pilot projects. One pilot project already was here presented. It was Participate, but we also had a few other projects which are worth mention. One is Plan Botnia project, where HELCOM Secretariat had a leading role, and it was the first of that kind of the projects where two countries tried to make joint maritime spatial plan of one particular territory. And out of that we have got a lot of conclusions about transnational approaches that have to be developed or that are already developed in joint spatial planning activities. So here you can see what was the result of the planning process of Plan Botnia project. Participate project, which was already mentioned, has several planning territories of a different nature. One is national planning in Lithuanian Sea. There are cross-border planning in Middle Bank and Pomeranian Bight, which is more complex exercise involving several countries. If we now move to land-based activities of our horizontal action, then I would like to mention ESPON project BSR TEMO, which is dealing with evaluating or suggesting the monitoring system, how territory, the macro region is developing, and what indicators can be used to evaluate this territorial dynamics. As an outcome, we will have by the end of this year not only an indicator system, but we will have also some test cases where we have evaluated specific aspects of territorial cooperation, and one of them very visible economic divides within the region. Here you can see what divides have existed at the beginning of 90s, so very sharp east-west divide, and on the other side you can see what divides are now. They are more sophisticated. There are no clear divide anymore between east and west, but these divides have grown within national countries, more between north and south, between urban and rural territories. And out of these similar test cases, we also have policy conclusions. Now a few words about projects for the future. We have supported several projects related to maritime spatial planning. One is Baltic Sea, which will deal with the Gulf of Finland maritime spatial planning activities, very similar with those in Plan Botnia case. And another project suggested by the government of Åland, dealing with smart growth and sustainable management in coastal areas. On the land-based side, we are looking for promoting urban and rural cooperation, how cities can support their rural areas, or how large cities can support smaller cities, what are interlinkages, what partnerships can be made. And there we have provided support to Livable Baltic City project, and we are looking forward to the implementation of this small seed money facility initiative. And finally, I would like to invite you to the workshop what we are organizing in Riga in a couple of weeks on 28th of November. It's about developing new ideas for our horizontal action, where we will create kind of a platform where project developers will meet with funding programs, and we will discuss what is possible for the next programming period, what new ideas in the fields of land spatial planning and in the field of maritime spatial planning can be developed. So I invite you to look at our website, to follow closely our work and be active in spatial planning. Thank you.